Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. We will be discussing on-premises infrastructure, cloud, and DevOps implementation. My name is Abdullah Mahmood, and I'll be guiding you through the complete session. As per the agenda, we'll have an introduction of Cyber's capabilities and expertise. I'll also let you know about myself. We'll have a discussion on DevOps and its benefits in an organization, challenges while implementing it, good and bad practice, its impacts and implementation, challenges in an on-premises application hosting. We have a real-life case study that we'll have a walkthrough and explain what was the problem and how we mitigated that, and what was the end result and benefit that the customer achieved out of it. And then we'll have an interactive Q&A session after that. So I would like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Abdullah Mahmood, currently serving as a practice lead at Royal Cyber. With over a decade plus years of experience in IT, I possess a master's degree in engineering management and an expertise on GCP, AWS, and project management. So let us talk about Royal Cyber now. With over 20 plus years of experience and 2,500 plus employees globally, we hold the sentiments of 600 plus clients across the globe. We hold 600 plus certified consultants, and our technology partners with Microsoft, AWS, Google, SAP as well. What is DevOps? A cultural and technical practice bridging development and operation for one single purpose: faster, reliable software delivery through collaboration and automation. This particular aspect stands on 5 key pillars: collaboration and communication, automation of processes, continuous integration and continuous delivery, infrastructure as a code, monitoring and feedback loops. So let us talk about the benefits of DevOps and how it facilitates the client, the customer, and its organization. It accelerates time to the market. How? Optimized workflows and automation minimizes the delays. It helps us have a high quality and reliability by automated testing that identifies issues on a very early stage. It enables a stronger collaboration by reducing silos and promotes teamwork. Effortlessly scales infrastructure and application. Last but not the least, automation and optimization reduce the operational expense on the customer end. What are the challenges in DevOps implementation? Cultural resistance is present always. Teams struggle with changes, they have trust issues, and they are working in silos, so collaboration is a point of congestion for them. Using the wrong tools leads to inefficiencies and wasted efforts. A lack of actionable insights make it quite difficult for them to improve. Security is considered to be an afterthought, which means we implement security measure once the vulnerability arises. Their team lacks the necessary DevOps expertise, and due to weak governance, there is an implementation of inconsistent standards and processes. What are the bad practices in DevOps? Not having a clear goal and strategy. Implementing DevOps without defining objectives and aligning with business needs leads to disjointed efforts, wasted resources, and unmet expectation. Believing that DevOps is solely about using the latest tools and neglecting the culture and processes change that is required creates a fragmented workflow and fails to address the collaboration and the communication gap. Focusing solely on technology while ignoring the needs of a shift and maintaining silos between development, operations, and other team causes a resistance to change and prevents the effective collaboration. Lack of automation and performing manual testing for processes like deployment, testing, and configuration slows down the delivery pipeline and increases the error rates. Neglecting to implement robust monitoring and feedback mechanism and failing to act on metrics and users' feedback leads to an undetected issue and a decline in the customer satisfaction. Adding security checks late in the development life cycle and treating security as an afterthought instead of having it pre-built into the pipeline increases vulnerabilities, risks. Skipping the test by inadequate testing or relying manually on testing, rushing the releases without having a proper mechanism of the quality check results in buggy softwares and frequent rollbacks. Failure to measure success, not defining or tracking key performance indicators, team fails to identify the bottlenecks or the effectiveness of DevOps efforts. There is one key aspect in which the organization mostly fail. They consider that one size fits all approaches. Applying the same processes, the same tools or metrics across all the teams without even considering their unique needs reduces flexibility, their effectiveness, and it at the end of the day frustrates them. Treating DevOps as one-time project rather than an ongoing practice leads to stagnation and failure to adapt to the new change. Not maintaining a proper document for the pipeline processes or system creates confusion during the onboarding, troubleshooting, or scaling efforts. And having an unrealistic expectation, expecting immediate results without even considering the time and effort required for transformation leads to a frustration and disillusionment with the DevOps team. So, how does these bad practices affect the company's KPIs and performances? The bad practices can significantly impact deployment frequency, making it slower and less reliable. It takes longer release cycles, fewer deployments, and missed opportunities for quick innovation. Whereas a strong DevOps culture enables frequent, reliable, and automated deployments, improving time to market and customer satisfaction. Due to the decreased successful completion, as you can see, a happy customer goes to a sad customer and then to an agitated customer. This leads to a serious impact on the operational cost, higher expenses, and reduced profitabilities. And at the end of the day, what happens for the engineer? Not so good bonuses. So let's talk about implementing DevOps best practices in an organization or in a culture. First of all, define clear objective for them. Envision, give them a vision or a goal. Foster collaboration, accountability, and shared responsibility to have a cultural shift. Implement CI/CD pipelines and infrastructure code for the sake of automation. Use tools aligned with the workflows, such as Jenkins, Kubernetes, and Terraform. Use monitoring and logging for actionable insight. Integrate security throughout the development lifecycle, not at the end. Start from the basic, from the start. Start with pilot project and scale gradually to achieve the optimal solution. Train the teams, conduct workshops to upskill them. Let them know about the current tools and how it's implemented and what are their methodologies. Track KPIs like deployment frequencies, MTTR, and change failure rates. For continuous improvement, Use retrospective and feedback loops to enhance practice. Some of the use cases for the best practices in DevOps primarily focuses on having a centralized repo. So in case of any theft or any hardware failure, the organization doesn't fall back. It has its prior code in the system, and it's the organization's responsibility to provide that particular platform. So here you can see some more common cases of implementation of best practices of DevOps in an organization. Having a proper naming convention helps the teams to quickly understand the purpose of the resources, the branches, and the scripts, reduces confusion across the teams and environments. It helps them to understand the scripts and the policies that can be applied uniformly without exception. And troubleshooting is technically simplified as well. And as I mentioned, for the deployment strategy, having a proper branching deployment strategies allows multiple teams to work on features, bug fixes, and hot fixes simultaneously. It also ensures stable release by separating deployment, testing, and production branches, making it easier to revert changes without affecting the main code base. And last but not the least, it reduces integration conflict and speed ups the testing and deployments. Having a reusable template, it actually ensures infrastructure and configurations are deployed consistently across the environment. How it helps anybody, it reduces manual effort by automating repetitive tasks. It enables rapid provisioning of resources while maintaining compliance as well. And it avoids resources misconfiguration that could lead to an excessive cloud cost as well. Uh, Tagging policies. This is a problem that mostly organizations lack. Having an ideal situation and having the proper tagging policy implemented helps track spendings by tagging the resources with the cost centers. For the security compliance, it identifies the ownership, environment, and the purpose of the resource for the audit purpose as well. It enables filtering, reporting, and lifecycle management of cloud assets and allows enforcement of policies based on tags, that is auto delete, non-prod resources, testing resources, stuff like that. Now, one of the key principles is to have an automated testing strategy or mechanism implemented. Have unit integration, performance, and security testing implemented in an environment helps you catch issues before they reach production. You ensure the code follows best practice and meets the functional requirement. Enables continuous delivery with confidence, which leads to actually a faster deployment. And it also helps in security hardening, identifies the vulnerabilities early through security testing and compliance check as well. So let us talk about the challenges on hosting an application on an on-premises infrastructure. Hosting an application on an on-premises infrastructure requires a heavy reliance on manual processes. It is a constant struggle as well. Scaling up requires significant time and effort, and the lack of advanced CI/CD tools make application updates cumbersome and ineffective. Setting up, monitoring, and maintaining a server is a resource-heavy task, consuming valuable time and effort that can have been utilized on innovation. With no stronger disaster recovery plan in place, backup restoration is slow and often unreliable, posing a risk on business continuity. Many resources remain underutilized or idle, leading to unnecessary operational costs that could have been avoided with brainstorming and optimization as well. Manual processes require manual intervention, thus increasing the percentage of human error and reducing overall efficiency. It affects the deployment lifecycle. The on-premises setup always lacks automated backups and recovery solution, making data protection a significant challenge. And regular tasks like upgrades, security patches, and database management requires a great deal of manual effort, adding to the operational burden for the resource and the organization. So let us talk about a real life case study of a customer based out of KSA. The customer was running a business critical application on their on premises and it comprised of an HRM system. It was a business critical application as it was managing employees' records, their payrolls, and performance evaluation. The current architecture comprised of a front-end React-based web application deployed in a self-managed Kubernetes cluster running on a virtual machine. For the backend, a Node.js API server with Express was connected to a MS SQL database hosted on another VM. The employees' records, their resumes, and documentation were stored on a local NAS-based system. And for the network and security, it was exposed via Nginx ingress controller with SSL termination and authentication handled through AD. The manual deployment was done using GitLab that was hosted on premises VM. Selection of the cloud. In the current era of multi-cloud such as GCP, Azure, and AWS, why was GCP proposed or selected? So basically, GCP offers competitive pricing structure with more transparent billing model, especially for the compute-intensive tasks. It has a global robust infrastructure that ensures low latency and a faster transfer speed across different regions. GCP is often seen as more developer-centric with a cleaner interface and a well-documented APIs, making it easier to learn and use as compared to AWS. So once it was established by the customer that it would be going with the Google Cloud Platform for scalability and availability, Royal Cyber proposed the set of resources that would be utilized while drafting the solution for this particular customer, such as GKE cluster was used for the front end and the back end application. For the database, managed in-house services provided by GCP was used, MS SQL, and cloud storage for having the documents and payroll files to be stored. For the network part, we implemented IAM policies, and for the security aspect, we also implemented VCP and Cloud NAT to isolate the traffic and secure it. The container images were saved in Google Artifact Registry, and as you know, we implemented Azure DevOps to be the repository for this automation, for building it, for testing it, and deploying it. Since it was established that the customer would prefer to go with the GCP in cloud and the resources were identified by Royal Cyber, let me now walk you through the implementation phase. Uh, Initially, what we did was we transferred the GitLab repository to Azure DevOps, utilizing the import repository plugin for a seamless transition. It enabled integrated version control, pipeline automation, and artifact management. GKE cluster were configured for development, UAT, and production environment. and a YAML-based configuration ensured consistency across the deployments. For automated CI/CD pipeline, build stage and release creation and release promotions were created to have the code compiled and tested. Version released were deployed to the development cluster, and only the validated and trusted releases were pushed to production environment under the supervision of manager supervisor. GCP auto-scaling feature minimized the resource wastage and unwanted costs. We scheduled a backup using GCP snapshot and a storage services. And for an enhanced service management, infrastructure as a code using Terraform automated provisioning and configuration. And over here, as you can see, this is the real life sample of an implemented solution for the customer. So what was the benefit of proposing and implementing this solution for the customer? The automated workflows replaced manual procedure, resulting in a faster and more reliable operation. Tools for monitoring and telemetry made proactive management and ongoing development possible. Google, GCP, and Azure were integrated seamlessly thanks to a hybrid process. An architecture that is secure and scalable to meet the demands of expanding business would readily available for the customer. Data availability and disaster recovery compliance were guaranteed by a scheduled snapshot. So at the end of the day, we had a very satisfied customer with a good sentiment of the operations provided by the Royal Cyber team. So since we have walked through on the revamping of the on-premises infrastructure to Google Cloud using Azure DevOps, let me take this opportunity to showcase you the integration expertise at Royal Cyber on GCP platform. As of now, we currently hold the expertise of service management on ServiceNow and Jira. For DevOps, Jenkins, GitLab CI/CD, Circle CA, and Azure DevOps. For infrastructure as a code, Terraform, Ansible, and Google Deployment Manager. For IAM, Okta, and Auth. For incident manager, we have the capabilities of PagerDuty and ServiceNow. For alert and monitoring, Nagios, Prometheus, New Relic, and ELK Stack is there. For customer relationship management, Salesforce and Soho CRM. For containerization services, GKE. And for artificial intelligence, IBM Watson AI Platform and TensorFlow. So we at Royal Cyber encompass a wide range of offerings designed to help organizations effectively manage their cloud infrastructure, such as infrastructure management that allows monitoring and maintaining cloud servers, network, and storage solutions. For cloud security, we implement security measures such as firewalls, encryptions, and access control to protect the data and the application in the cloud. Backup and disaster recovery provides solutions for database backups, recovery planning, and disaster recovery processes to ensure business continuity. Performance monitoring by tracking the performance of the cloud applications and infrastructure to identify and resolve issues proactively. For cost optimization and management, we provide the services of analyzing cloud usage to optimize cost, manage their budget, and even implement cost savings measures. For compliance management, we ensure that the customer environment meets the industry standard and regulations such as GDPR and HIPAA. For application management, managing the cloud-based application, including deployments, updates, and troubleshooting is there. We provide the best practices in DevOps implementation and automation. For the cloud migration services, we assist with the migration of on-premises applications and data to the cloud, as you have already seen in this webinar session. As a course of consultancy and strategy, we provide guidance on cloud strategy, the architecture design, and the best practices for cloud adoption. User support and training, we provide support for end user and trainings on the cloud tools and the best practices that have been implemented across the world and in their environment. And for multi-cloud and hybrid management, we manage environments that span across the multi-cloud environment, providing a mixture of on-premises and on-cloud resources. And here you can see that Royal Cyber provides cloud professional services that are specialized offerings aimed at helping organizations design, implement, and optimize their cloud strategies. The service includes cloud strategy consulting, cloud architecture design, migration services from on-prem to cloud as well, DevOps services, cloud security assessment, compliance and governance, performance optimization, cost optimization, training and enablement, managed services setup, application development as well, customized application development, data analytics and business intelligence, disaster recovery planning, modernization, and cloud application deployment as well. So let me take this opportunity to introduce you to my team. My team comprises of myself, our global practice head Hasib Abdul, the digital transformation leader Imran Tahir, and Sunny Dover as a digital transformation advisor. Um, Feel free to reach out to any one of us regarding GCP and Royal Cyber practices and expertise, and we'll be glad to respond back to you, showcasing our capabilities in a real life environment. And if there are any particular questions that you need to ask, uh, we will be addressing that as well. So let's move to the interactive Q&A session. The platform is open. Feel free to drop your questions and let me try to answer your questions or queries in best possible way.